Okay. Finally made it. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Can you believe it? Holy cow. Holy cow. Welcome, guys. Rich, Joe, Clint, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Yes, we do have a special guest today. Let's see if we can cue up the right shot here. Yeah, here he is. This is Rhett Sinclair, born this Friday will be 2 weeks ago. And he is doing very well. Very well, very well. He is a cute little guy. And yeah, he oh my goodness. Look at that face. Look at that face. Of course, you know that same face has got his mouth wide open and his eyes wide open in a 2 a.m. scream. So yeah. He's a keeper. He's a keeper. Thank you, Dave. It's it's my third grandson. So I now have 3 sons and 3 grandsons. This is cool stuff. I was thinking about it this morning, raising well, not raising a grandson, but being a part of the life of a grandson and influencing him, I'll say. Will hopefully not make the same mistakes I made the first time around. Not that those guys didn't turn out okay anyway. Sometimes it amazes me how little parents can affect the outcome that kids are going to have. Or maybe we just did enough things right. You never know. You never know. Let's get this. How's this camera thing go? There we go. There it is. So pretty excited about today's show. RJ Murdoch, this is in honor of him today. RJ is from Emerald Coast TV down in the Emerald Coast area of Florida, which is Destin, Fort Walton Beach, kind of in that panhandle area. That, believe it or not, that's some of the whitest beach sand in the world there in Destin, Fort Walton Beach, panhandle of Florida. If you're ever looking for a vacation spot, that's definitely one you want to consider. Off season. In season, it's just an endless traffic jam. But thanks to RJ for suggesting today's topic. And I see with the little countdown there that we're counting down to showtime. So let's get the show on the road, shall we? Yes. All right. It worked again. Hooray. Hat tip and thanks to Martin Kay for the awesome intro and outro that goes along with it. It's a matched set, as it were. Recovering from a little cold here. So I appreciate you guys keeping your distance today. Keep your distance. No handshakes and hugs today. Welcome to Streaming Idiots. Glad you're here. Wish I was going to be able to meet you at NAB this year, but it is just not in the cards. My very special guest today has kind of preempted any and all of my plans because we'll be hanging out with him as much as possible, at least the first several months, kind of helping mom and dad out and getting things back in line as they were, as if they ever get back in line when you have your first baby. Rhett Sinclair is my third grandson, so I'm delighted about it. And he's a keeper. He's a keeper. What else is a keeper is a new offering from X Keys. And this is the XK. It might be E, but it's at least XK, XK14 T-bar. And you say, okay, what do you need a T-bar with only 14 buttons on it? Well, it makes a perfect throw in your backpack to go with your laptop vMix instant replay controller. The T-bar is to slow the replay down, and then you've got 14 programmable buttons that allow you to set your mark in, your mark out, 5, 10, 15-second shots, a play shot, a forward, a backward, whatever it is you want to set up. I think TJ Thompson has been working with X-Keys on the development of this device. He has the 001 version, the prototype, and did a video on YouTube on it a while back. So we'll be looking to that, and if he doesn't already have one, we'll build out a couple of sample presets for it, so far as the shortcuts interacting with the vMix instant replay. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. We've got a dozen of those on order. Here to tell they were shipped today, so that means we'll probably get them. Today's Wednesday. We'll probably get them Saturday. So that's cool. And yeah, so that is the X-Keys XK14 with a T-bar. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's priced at $229, and I'm thinking about packaging it with either with vMix Pro, because that's your 8-camera instant replay level software of vMix, or with one of our instant replay PCs. But I think the real strength of it, well, lots of strengths of it, but one of the real strengths of it is it's portable. It's small. It'll fit in your backpack. Not that the larger, kind of X64 T-bar won't, because it will too. But it just takes up a little bit more space, and I think this was a little bit more compact and maybe all that you need. We'll see. It's funny how something like this can cannibalize another product within the same line. Hello, KMR. Glad you made it. He made it live. He's been so busy. He keeps missing it. Oh, well. And John's here. Welcome, John. Glad to have you guys. Glad to have you guys. So today we're going to talk about creating a custom return feed for your vMix call guest. And this would also work for Zoom or Skype or Teams as well. But the idea is that, well, number one, with vMix, you have the ability to set whatever input you want in vMix as the return video feed to the guest. And in fact, each guest can have their own custom return video feed. So we've dummied up one. Let's see, I've got it. Oh, yeah, I've got it right here. Here we go. And boom, there it is right there. Now, typically with this one, top left corner is, of course, is me. And that is going to be the host. Below that, down there, that's my guest. And then right here, not the little guy, but the big guy, the big me over here. That's the stream output. Excuse me. We've put, the countdown to the showtime here in the bottom left, which, as you now see, let's see. Why is it, it's counting down? Oh, you know why it's counting down. It's counting down to, who knows what it's counting down to? Holy cow. Let's see if we can find out what it's counting down to. An event that starts at, it's counting down to the end of the event. Okay, that's what it is. So this is how much time is left in the show. Showtime. So I probably ought to say time remaining. That would be a little clear. And then below the 23 and reducing seconds is a bar. You see the beginning of the red bar as it's coming across. And that'll get longer as the amount of the show time reduces. Excuse me. And then below that is my local time. I just threw that in there as data just to have something in data, but it might not be the best thing. And then we've got the labels in white: showtime, local time, stream output. All of these elements are portions, are individual elements in vMix, and we've just simply put them together on a single input page, a color input, so that we could make that the return feed to our guest. Now, let's see if I can show you. Let's see here. Can I show you? Yeah, let's see. Let's go here. This is number 92, but let's move it up to like number 5 so I can find it more easily. There we go. So this desktop capture right here, and let's go ahead and just bring it back to its regular size. That is a monitor. That's one of the monitors on my PC. And you can see that there are, there's only one element, only one window on that monitor, and that is my audio mixer in vMix. And what I want to do with that audio mixer in vMix basically is take the audio volume meter from my audio, and I want to put it right here so that I can see my own audio. And then I can do the same thing with the guest's audio so that we're customizing it. In fact, you can see it's kind of sitting right there. So we need to fix that. Because that's not something actually hanging from the ceiling right there. So let's do that, and we can do it for the guest audio, but there's not anything active for the guest audio. So let me show you my vMix desktop here. Do I have a desktop here? I had a desktop. What did I do with it? Did I move it where I could? Who knows where I put it? Okay, let's just make one real quick. So we're going to go add input, capture, local desktop capture. Let's just go ahead and take the whole monitor. That way you can see my mouse and everything. And so we'll send that one here. So there we go. So that's my desktop. You can see that in the preview here in the top left corner, this is the input that we're working on. That's our guest show view. And then you can see my various inputs below. Today we're working with 96 of them. Not all of them used. Some of them are just ones that I keep just so I can have them if I want to. Welcome, Ken. Ken, I'll have you know, was the very first one to order one of the X-Key thingies, he calls them. That's the XK14 I was showing you just a few minutes ago. It's going to be great backpack size. Ken, I hope you'll give me a full review on it. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the beauty. Okay, so we want to take this input right here, which is a desktop capture for my third monitor that has my voice meter on it, and we want to put it on this input right here. So we're going to go into the settings for number 3, and we're going to go to the Layers tab, and we can see I've already got it on here as a desktop capture, but I fouled it up. So let's go in and unfoul it. So the first thing we'll do is just go ahead and reset it. Now it's probably not in the best place. I probably should have it as one of these lower ones, but I very quickly and dirtily put together these 3 texts. You can see them kind of disappear, this one, that one, and then what is this other text right here? Oh, be right back. How about that? So that could be a special message to your guest. And then we've got the clock there. The number 6 output would be when we had a regular output, but I don't want to do output now because it would be very messy. And then main shot, of course, is my camera. Headshot would be the guest. Oh, excuse me, no, main shot right here would be the output. So instead of output, I'm just using my camera as to simulate an output. And then this is my camera in the top left, which is currently being covered up by the audio mixer screen capture. So let's go into the audio mixer screen capture right here. We've reset it. Let's go ahead and do some brief edits on it. Like we can go ahead and crop all the way over to about there. And then we'll crop underneath it right to about there. There we go. and then we'll crop to the left, right about there. Yep. And then from the top, right about there. So we've kind of got it there. It probably needs to be a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit on it. There we go. In fact, let's zoom in a lot, and then we'll just drag it down, and we can crop it a little bit more effectively when it's larger like this. And then we'll reduce it back down in size. So we'll crop it from the bottom. So let's see the bottom. Bottom doesn't look bad. Let's crop it from the left. Whoops, a little too far. You know, you can take this little guy right here, instead of dragging it, you can adjust the numbers, or you can just hold your mouse over it, and you can use your scroll wheel on your mouse to move it sideways. Okay, so we're getting good there. Let's do the same thing on the other x-axis. I'm just going to use my mouse scroll wheel, and up is to the right on this one. Yeah, there we go. Is that a pretty good size? Then we'll do that one a little bit more. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to use my Pan X, and I'll just slide it over here to the right. And so now I have a little volume bar right here, right there, so I can see my own volume. And Aziz, welcome. Glad to have you. So now I've got the ability to check, you know, my guests can see that I've got audio. I can see that I have audio. If somebody is not hearing audio, and there's audio present right there, then we know there's a different problem and can help us troubleshoot a little bit. But I thought it would be kind of fun to try to figure out how to do a tally light. And I looked through the vMix shortcuts, and there doesn't appear to be anything on a tally light. I haven't looked through the API, which essentially should be the shortcuts. But let's see if we can't just let's just see if we can't fudge one. One of the things that we noticed about excuse me. One of the things that we notice about vMix is that the top of the program window is set up in a green, and the top of the preview window is set up in an orange. And you can change that to the traditional red and green if you like. We were not going to do that right now because we would have to reset our whole vMix, and we would lose our live stream. But let's just pretend that these were sort of the traditional red and green being preview and red being program. We can use a desktop capture like we did with our audio and just capture. For example, you notice down in my inputs down there that number 3, guest show view, the top border is orange, which is preview. So we could crop out all but just a portion of that top border right there, and then somehow put that in the guest window so he knows what his status is. So let's see if we can do that. We've got, there it is. We've got a desktop capture. Let's move that up to the top where we can see it. So I'm going to right click on settings, click move to, and let's just put it at number 4. That'll just be easy to find. Yeah, there it is right there, number 4. And it's got a green top window. That's good. And that's the one that we're going to use right now as we go into it. Let's go. No, we've got it right there. That's what we want. Okay. Did we make this one? Yeah, we made this one the monitor. So this is the entire monitor with the, we really want to make it just the vMix program. Let's see if we can't get a different desktop capture, because we don't want to have something cover that up like this. Like all of a sudden, if this covers it up, it doesn't work anymore. So let's go desktop capture, local desktop capture. Oh, what happened to our vMix? Let's go back and find it. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Phew. So let's go add input, desktop capture, local desktop capture. And we want vMix, I think we want vMix 2. Let's see if that's right. Go down here. Yeah, there it is. So that's our vMix. Whew, that's really kind of funky looking. And let's move that up to number 4. And we can see them sort of side by side. Um, let's just get me in the picture for a second. There we go. So you can see now we've got number 4 desktop capture, which is actually the vMix interface, and then number 5 desktop capture, which also shows it shows anything on this monitor. Um, so if I were to let's see, if I were just to bring up GT Title Designer, let's just minimize that and drag it off to the side. You see that it appears on number 5 right here because we're capturing the whole monitor, but it doesn't appear on number 4. It only appears in the output because it sees what number 5 sees. Okay, so we won't worry about that. I'll explain that to you again later if you like. But number 4 is what we want. So let's go to our guest show view, and we're going to bring in input number 4. So we're going to go into settings for guest show view, which is number 3. We're going to go to our layers. We're running out of layers here, so we may have to nest them at some point. And we want to get input number 4, which is the desktop capture. And we want to edit that. And we want to go ahead and reset it. And you see how it sort of takes up the screen based on where it was. And we know that we want this to be on top of the guest. But you see the guest is floating on top of this. Well, we'll fix that in just a second. Let's go ahead and find our guest's photo here. Might our guest be somewhere else on the list? Maybe this won't work. Well, let's try it, find out. Yeah, there's our guest. So our guest really should be up at the top, because if he's at the guest, if he's truly a guest, we want to have him up there where we can work with him more easily. So there he is, number 2. He's the guest. So let's go back into the show view again. And here's our guest guy right there. And when he goes in preview, he's going to change. The top of the border right here is going to change. And when he goes into program, the border is going to change. So let's zoom in a little bit more on that element right there. And then let's just crop it. So we're going to crop down to there. Crop down to there. Come on. You can do it. Keep going. There it is. We're going to crop over to there. We'll crop up from the bottom. Come on. A little bit more. Oh, it's not wanting to crop, is it? There we go. And let's crop a little bit more from the right. All right, so we're ending it with just this little dot. And we want to take this and we want to position it on top of our guest. So let's come back to this in just a second. But first, we're going to rearrange where the guest falls. We're going to put the guest down here. Be nice if we could just grab him and drag him down there, wouldn't it? Because I think we've got some special settings here that we've done for him. Oh, we can copy these. Okay, well, that's almost as good as dragging. So let's copy that. We'll come down here and we'll put the guest, who is input number 2 now. Input number 2. And let's paste the settings. There we go. So that puts him in the right place. And then let's turn him on here and off there. Oops, turn him on there. There we go. There we go. Now we can go to our desktop capture there and drag it down here to him. Oops, it went behind him, didn't it? Why did that go behind him? Ah, it needs to go on top of him. So we need to move him up to one of these others. Well, we actually need to move him up here. Well, let's try that then. Heck, let's just get rid of me. And we'll paste those again. Back there, there he is, down there where he belongs. We'll take him off of there. And now we can see that his little blue dot down there. That's the one. Yep. All right, let's see what happens to that blue dot as he goes live. So we'll put that in output, and we'll bring him into preview. There we go. And if we take him live, aha, he's green. I can't show you that though, can I? Because then he wouldn't be green anymore. There's got to be a way of doing it without showing it to you with a camera. But the idea is, let's go back here. Yeah, it happens so quick you can't even see. I mean, he's orange there, and then we're going to take him out of preview, so he's blue. If we put him back in preview, he turns orange, and if he goes live, yeah, we can't see. Oh yeah, now we can. We do a merge. You can see that he changes from green to orange. There we go. So now we've got a tally light for him, quick and dirty, and it is dependent upon positioning within vMix. Hopefully vMix will give us a shortcut, or something a button that we can just pop in there, an input that is a tally light. That would be a nice little input, little tally light input that was green when it needed to be, or red, or whatever the key colors were as you program, preview, and monitor. So yeah, we've messed up our volume meter, and of course we've messed me up in the process. Oh no, we haven't. We just need to turn the audio mixer back on. Yeah, there we go. And obviously need to edit it just a little bit more because it's overlapping right there. And we can set the same thing up with an audio meter for this output right here. If we run out of layers in vMix, what we might do is just take the output and make the output video one input, overlay the tally light and the volume meter on that, and then make that this element in this input. So that just takes up one layer. Do the same thing for the host and the guest. So instead of taking up 9 layers to do that, you just take up, well, you end up with 3 inputs, each with 3 layers in it. And then you add your other layers that you want to, about, the labeling, timing, messaging, whatever kinds of things you want to do with that. You might put a ticker across the bottom to say, remember, coming up at, at 5 minutes is, coming up right after the show is the post show, something like that. So the guest is cued into those kinds of things because they're the only ones seeing this screen. But yeah, there we are. Let's see. Joe says just using the preview program won't account for them being in a multi-box effect. Not sure I understand what you mean, Joe, but I think it will. Yeah, let's put them in my guest, in my side by side. Here's my side by side. So let's change that out. Lovely little guy right there. Let's take that out and let's put in our guest. Oops, that's not our guest. There we go. And let's edit him down a little bit. sort of drag him over there, just kind of quick and dirty, just to make the case. Okay. And you're right, Joe. That didn't do it. Because when we bring this in, and we put him in preview, we've got that. But when we put him in preview as a side-by-side, that's funny. That's inconsistent because vMix will, in a side-by-side view, in a multi-box view, vMix will take audio and treat that differently than it treats the video, in terms of the status of it. Interesting. Good point, Joe. Thank you. So it would be much better if vMix did the tally light input for any appearance of an input. Doesn't have to be, I guess it should be video or should be a camera, but you would want it to be, an NDI. You would want it to be a camera input. You would want it to be a vMix call input, of course. You might want it to be a stream input. So that's going to get you your SRT. Yeah, it would take some thinking. All right, Aziz says, one question: how does that work with a second input over HDMI to an external recorder? For example, monitor 1 with program output, monitor 2 with multi-view, which will be recorded? What? Explain that one a little bit more. All right, Joe says, I would just use vMix smartphone tally page in the web browser source. Never heard of it. Have to look it up. But it'll be an interesting discussion. Interesting discussion. Okay. We have got, according to this little tally right here, if you were the guest, you would see this and you'd say, Tom, you've only got a minute left in the show. It's counting down. Notice how the red bar is really wide now. So I want to say, well, let's wrap this up and we'll go here and I'll do my kind of ending promo and then we'll go to the pre-show. So let's do that. Let's go to, to the post-show. So let's go to the post-show and I'll show you some more pictures of the world's most lovely grandson, at least through my eyes. And some other pictures, if you like, about the XK14, the new offering from X Keys, and my regrets at not being at NAB this year, a couple of weeks. Oh my gosh. Okay, sit tight. We'll be right back. All right, here we are. So Ken's watching. Welcome, glad to have you. And Joe says that program preview won't account for them being in the multi-box effect. If they have audio, it does. It will turn the audio on if they're in a multi-box, but it doesn't show program preview. That's a good point, because they're not really program preview at that point. It's just something else, an input that's program preview. So that does have that limitation. But the other thing, Joe, to think about is you could create a box that no, the way it is right now, you'd have to say, it's if you're in the green room, it's blue. If you're in preview, it's orange. And you'll know when I introduce you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Mike reminded me the other day, we have a vMix 101 class coming up this spring. Haven't set dates for it, kind of waiting for the grandson thing to get settled in a little bit. John says that PTZ CMP is out. What is a CMP? Is that a control management program? Capture members of parliament? Not sure. Give me some more information. All right, so what is the vMix smartphone tally page? Let's just go that. We're going to Google it. vMix, since Joe's not going to tell me what it is, smartphone tally page. The tally lights feature allows you to turn on any Wi-Fi enabled smartphone into blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So let's see if we can show you my desktop. Let's use that one. There we go. So we'll come down to, we want a web browser, right? Web controller. And T would be tally. No, T is text. There's tally. A lot of inputs, none of which are tallied. Which one is in program right now? Number 6. That would be that one. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, so what Joe is suggesting is that we take this URL, which is my PC's IP address, plus the 8088, which is the vMix connection, and then the, can we go back and show? Yeah, there we go. So that's going to bring us into something that looks like this, where we see all the shortcuts that have been allowed to go in the web controller. And then we have the opportunity to go through all the different options, but the one we want is the one with the green and orange dots on it, because that'll tell us tally lights. And then we can choose which one of our inputs, like for example, we may want to choose headshot. And so now this will tell us the tally light status of headshot. So I'm going to move this off to the side for just a second. If we put headshot in preview, that's going to turn the headshot tally light orange. If we put the side-by-side shot in preview, that's going to still make him orange. Aha, good, good. So if we put him in output, that's going to make him green. There we go. So we just need to capture that. That's brilliant, Joe. That's brilliant. He's like, oh, are you kidding? That's super, super, super easy. Yeah. Yep, that's what it is. It's super, super easy. Good job, Joe. Good job, Joe. What you know, Joe? Good job. I like it. I like it. Well done, sir. Well done. You just take over the rest of the show. Just go right ahead. Just jump right in whenever you want. There you go. Joe explains it all. He's probably wrong. Isn't it disgusting when these young whippersnappers think they know everything? uh, okay, let's go back to Aziz. He says, I want to put preview or multivitamin. I think he means multiview on one TV and program to record over HDMI, not over NDI. I couldn't get audio out of HDMI on TV. Well, you should be able to get audio out of HDMI on the TV, number one. Um, I do it all the time. When we're in pre-show, the audio from what is it? Yeah, the audio from the pre-show music plays out over my TV. So, and it's connected by HDMI. So you should that should not be a problem. Should not be a problem. And you can put, yeah, yeah, yeah. You've just got a connection problem or some other problem. Be happy to help you diagnose it, but it's just a little glitch somewhere of something that's not hooked up. Um, Mike says during tech checks, he trains the talent to view the live output, even when they're on camera, and experience the lip sync delay as a result. I tell them when on solo to look at the webcam to ignore the delay. There you go. Well, I am the talent in this show. So I have to train myself to look straight at the camera and then just sort of tangentially look at everything else. Well, it's funny when we set up the elementary school studio a couple of years ago. We had a big 55-inch TV we've got essentially the studio is two rooms, and so there's the control room, and then there's the broadcast room, and the broadcast room is where the talent are, where the cameras are, green screens, microphones, all that stuff, and one 55-inch TV. And that 55-inch TV shows them what the program output is so that they can kind of be oriented to what's where. But it only does that in the pre-show, when for them, their show is the morning announcements. When they are counting down to going live, I mean, they've been streaming for a few minutes already to get the stream established, but they're counting down to go live. The folks in the studio can hear through that TV, the folks in the control room counting down. And, we've taught them just to assume when we're going 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, to take the pulses of 2, 1, and 0 and know it. And so, they all just become accustomed to it. And so it's, 4, 3, and boom, that TV goes blank. So they're not distracted by anything on it. And they're now making contact with the cameras and reading, or if they've memorized their script, they're reading it directly into the camera. And then there's a floor director right there that's pointing out the next camera. And so it's hopefully as simple as possible in that sense. The problem with the TV was, just as you say, is there was just enough delay in it to make them uncomfortable. And so we had to just basically just took it away. There was really no need for them to see themselves at that point. Number one, it's just an elementary school announcement show. But it was very, very distracting for them to see themselves. So, yep, don't look at anything is my advice. Can't believe you're not coming to NAB, and as a result, there, I am now looking to cancel our flights. Oh yeah, yeah, right. I don't see that. Sorry, mate. I'm laid up in bed with an ear infection trying to lecture y'all with my stupid ideas. No, it's not a lecture. The ideas are stupid, but it's not a lecture. This may be the solution, Aziz. Select the graphics card output in vMix. Um, full screen will only handle the out. Well, that may be true. Is that the way I have it set? Let's check settings, audio outputs. The C, channel C is my TV set. So let's see in the audio mixer if I am sending out to C on Fresh and Fun. No, I'm not. Am I sending out anything to C? What about the Jaw Stinger? No, I'm not sending anything out to the TV through audio. It's only going through video. In fact, I don't even have C enabled, which is my TV set. So there must not be anything using it. If I did that to C, would it add a C? No, doesn't add a C. Huh. Why is C not available? Oh, you know what? I was playing with my settings earlier. Anyway, I'll figure that out later. I like the simple solutions. It could be that. It could be the volume on the TV. How many times have we, and we've all done it, have we searched, for the worst problem in the world to find out it was just unplugged or, turned down or whatever it is. Everybody's bowing down to Joe today because he's not feeling good. Poor Joe. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. So John said that the PTZ CMP is out. And I'm thinking at first, oh my gosh, it's broken again. Well, wait. What is a CMP? And why is it out? Well, it's out because it's available, the camera management platform. I'm assuming, John, and give me some more details if you're still around, that is the app that you can run on your PC that will allow your Gen 2 PTZ Optics cameras to be tracking. Is that the deal? No, I should be. Yeah, I can. Let me just let's put that over there. We'll bring this back in. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so if I want to add the C channel to this one, I'm just going to select C. And boom, it should select C. In fact, it should be throwing audio to the TV right now, but it's not. Do I have the TV turned down? Nope, it's at 100%. But it's not showing up here either. So you're probably right. I probably need to restart. And this has been a crazy, crazy day. Let me show you how we are live streaming today. This is a live shot of my streaming PC. Yes, it is sitting on a box, connected to power supply, connected to monitors, connected to, what else is it connected to? USB. And I was just having problems. I could not get monitors to work for unknown reasons. And I said, that's it. I'm blaming it on the case. So I ripped it out of the case and put it on a box. Found out it still wasn't the box. It still wasn't the case's fault. It was probably a bad port on one of the monitors. It was DisplayPort. I hate DisplayPort. I hate DisplayPort. And although it does stay clipped, in fact, most cases I couldn't get it unclipped. But I finally had to go a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter. But that's for this monitor. That's not for the big TV. The big TV is HDMI direct. Let's see, post-show. Yeah, I believe PTZ Optics better write that chick a check for whatever it takes. Yes, yes. Sarah Cross, I met her last year at NAB. Delightful, very charming, very modest young woman who is a friggin' genius. Excuse my friggin' French. But yeah, and what was it? Matthew Davis was telling me that, he would send her some sample code to take a look at just to get her comments on, and she'd fix it and send it back to him. I love it. I love it. That was so funny. So funny. But she's a charming young woman. Maybe we can get her on the show someday. I don't know what I'd ask her. Um, is 2 plus 2 still 4? That's the level at which I work. All right. John says that the CMP is the tracking and more. All right. Yes. All right. Aziz says, it was the volume on the TV. No, it wasn't. That was not the case. If I have more than 3 HDMI outputs on the computer, it was not possible to tell vMix which HDMI is which, even though Windows could see it. No, you can do that. You can do that. Let's show you where you would look. Every PC is a little different, but let's go here and we'll go into settings. I'm just going to drag this up here so it's not so confusing. And one of the first things you get is on your full screen outputs, the ability to choose which one of your connections is attached to that full screen output. So yeah. And so once you've selected whatever that is, I'm not going to change it, and come turn the full screen on, then that's going to be whatever it is. Let's see, it's on display. Right now it's on desktop capture input 8. But let's put it on number 3. That'll be helpful. Yeah, there you go. And so that's me. I can watch myself, but it also has a countdown timer on it. It's just this one right here. So I can see quickly as I'm looking, as I'm trying to make eye contact with the camera, and I keep looking up to a picture of myself so you can see my eyes looking at me and not at you. But it does give me the ability. I probably ought to take that and move it down here to one side of the camera or the other. Since it's just a custom view for me, probably should take myself. In fact, let's do that right now. So we're going to go right here. We're going to go into position. And I don't want to worry about the clocks for a moment. I'm just going to take the whole thing and just drag it down here. So now when I look at my own eyes, the camera is right where my nose should be. So I can look, make great contact with you guys. So let's go to the clocks. And we're just going to drag those down where I can see them. Oh, we'll put them right there. Okay. So what that means is now when I'm looking at myself on the screen in front of me, and obviously it's all messed up, so I'd have to fix that later. But I have an idea, is my head straight? you know, those kinds of things. I can't see my nose, but I can see my eyes and my mouth, and I can see right here, obviously in my glasses, what time it is and how much time we are over on the show. So yeah, and that's just a full screen. I can turn it off and on as I need to. It's off now. Yeah, you can see it down there, kind of go off and on. There we go. So we'll take it off. Yeah, that's that, as they say. That's that. I need to have a post-show button so I can have get back to this screen very, very easily. Look at this. He got it. That's probably something Joe said. You never know. Sometimes it takes a collaboration. One person says something that generates a thought in somebody else that they might not have had not the first person said it. And Eagle Eye right here has said, "You're not recording the post show?" Well, I don't even know why I record the show. Well, I do. I do. But no, I don't record I don't record the pre-show or the post-show locally. When I stream to vMix, when I stream to YouTube, everything I stream gets recorded. So the, you know, the message screen at the very beginning with the countdown timer, the pre-show, the show itself, the post-show, and then anything after the post-show. All of that is the YouTube recording. A couple of weeks ago, you remember, I did a show, but forgot to hit play on YouTube as an idiot. Gee whiz. And so I'm watching the chat. You guys are chatting all about, you know, saying, you know, where is he? What's going on? Well, I'm thinking maybe YouTube's having a problem. And then about halfway through the show, I realized I never hit the stream button. So I hit the stream button. And so the YouTube recording was only recording like half of the show to the end of the show and to the end of the pre-show. So after the broadcast was over, I went in and deleted that and substituted the show that I had recorded locally, because I kept recording even though I was screwing. I mean, when the intro runs, it starts recording. And when the outro runs, it stops recording. All of that's programmed so I don't have to remember it. How many times have I forgotten to? Yeah. So so I had the show in its entirety. Didn't have the pre-show and post-show, but I didn't intend to. So that's a long explanation for not recording the show. Yeah. KMR said that's one of the best aspects of having a community. Get so many ideas from everyone trying to figure out their problems. Yeah, and sometimes it's overwhelming. And especially, well, number one, if you have people that don't understand your problem, or they think they understand your problem and they don't understand your problem. And oh yes, I had that last year and it was this, this, and this, and it turns out no, it really wasn't the same problem. Had the same symptoms, but it wasn't the same problems. Hello, Martin. Glad to have you. But there is that beauty, that energy, that's what do you call it? Symbiotic nature, symbiosis. Anyway, it's a word out there somewhere. Of putting people together and have them share concepts, ideas, thoughts, problems, solutions, and have it generate things that were not already thought of within that group. Yeah. And I remember I was probably in high school. We did an experiment where there was a problem that we were given. I think this was a physics class, maybe. There was a problem that we were given, and some members of the class were given parts of the solution, and other members of the class were just given, you know, a piece of paper that had something else on it that wasn't part of the solution. And then as a class, we were supposed to solve the problem. And the people that were given part of the solution were instructed not to just volunteer this, but to wait until somebody asked them. And I remember, the bossy people, were going to go in and run the show and show how smart they were and come up with a solution. And there was, I think, one person, a little guy, who had a key piece of information, and nobody ever asked him because he was just a little guy. He wasn't smart like everybody else. And so we never got the problem solved. Um, I wasn't one of the bossy guys. It was physics. I was on the back row because you didn't get called on the back row. Yeah. Otis is here from Texas. How are things in Texas? How far is Houston from Galveston? About an hour. Doesn't Galveston have beaches that you can drive on? I was watching some videos last night of somebody driving on the beach. I know Daytona Beach does. That's on the east coast of Florida. But Galveston, I believe, is southeast of Houston on the Gulf of Mexico. So, yeah. So, if I'm the bossy one, I'm not calling on Joe because he'll have all the answers. Oh my gosh. The good old days, Joe. The good old days. Well, you guys, Joe, are you serious about not going to NAB? That would be terrible. Um, I hope you're not so ill that you can't go. That's no good. It's going to be a great show. I think it's going to be a return show. I mean, I think things will be back to normal with that show. Um, and it should be, although it depends on the Asian community. Um, you know, how many of them make the trip? Um, there you go. Oh, that's so great, Mike. I love to get emails. I don't ever get emails. Are y'all getting emails routinely from people that you don't know that want to do something for you or for your company? And they write it, and the email is written in a chatty little format, like you just bumped into each other last week. And they're just sort of following up and thought you might be interested in this. And then a few days later, you'll get an email from somebody else that says, Charlie thought you might be interested in this. And so he forwarded your email to me. He forwarded his email to me about what he told you. And I thought maybe and it's pretty convincing um, little stream that they have going there. I mean, I know it's all pre-programmed. So it's the latest spam. It's supposed to, and it caught me. At one point, somebody was, and I just wanted to see what they were doing. I think it was a company that wanted to help me with recruiting employees. I don't use employees. Um, I think it's demeaning for people to be employees. It's kind of like they're slaves. Everybody needs to be independent. Not really. Um, and this company wanted to help me find people to work for me. And so they kept, and so I responded just because I wanted to see what was going on, not because I need people. And, they kept hooking in other people, oh, we could do this. John, what do you think about this? Oh, yeah, we could probably do this. And I know all that stuff had to be pre-planned. It was just a workflow. What do you call that? When you get all those little boxes, a sales funnel. That's it. It was just a sales funnel. Um, but it was well done. It probably cost somebody tens of thousands of dollars to develop it. So, yeah. So Otis is helping me with my geography that Houston is 48 miles oh, from, from Galveston. Oh, yes. So I guess pending traffic, about an hour's drive. Well, that's great. That's great. I'm trying to convince Sandy to go with me to Galveston. I think that would be fun. Even though we have beaches here, those would be different. All right. Well, boys and girls, we need to wrap this up because I need to go fix everything I broke and, try to figure out how to put everything back together again. Plus, we've got a couple PCs here. We need to finish up for some clients. Um, Hat tip to Parkview Alliance Church in Alberta for ordering a PTZ Optics camera. We are getting that on the way to you today. Hat tip to John in St. Thomas. No, not St. Thomas. U.S. Virgin Islands. I guess maybe it is St. Thomas. For telling me about the CMP. Want to check that out. That is going to be a new piece of software from PTZ Optics that will allow you to do all sorts of stuff with your Gen 2 cameras, not the Move 4K, the Gen 3s, but the current or the old version now of the Gen 2s. Apparently, they have a new camera coming out called the SE, which is going to be, don't know what it is, but I saw it on a promo yesterday. Looks like it might be an HD camera, kind of their Gen 2 camera, kind of spiffied up a little bit, but at a lower cost. So that'll keep the Gen 2s, probably keep their value up, which is good. That's a good thing. Look for the X-Keys XK14 in our website soon, especially if you're interested in instant replay. We'll have that up and test the tar out of it. Not going to drop it, but we'll do everything else but drop it. And we'll see you guys maybe next week. We'll have to see. It all depends on this guy. Where is that guy? That guy right there. It depends on him. Depends on what he wants and what he needs. And if he needs anything, I am there. No doubt about it. So that's it. That's it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you hanging out with me today. I've enjoyed it. And I hope this was fun and you got some things you can try out. We'll check you later.